Want to welcome everybody to the NIC Sports Report Podcast, Episode 1. And today we are talking to the NIC Women's Head Coach, Nate Covill, and Assistant Women's Head Coach, Louis Vargas. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Hey, Kyle. How are you doing? Thank you.
Doing really good. So let's start off with a little bit of with your history in coaching and how you ended up at NIC.
Louis, you want to go ahead?
I would love to. All right. Like Kyle said, I'm Louis Vargas, assistant coach here with the women's program. My coaching started actually at the youth level. When I ran a child care, I put together a daycare basketball team to go around and compete against other daycares. I know it's starting way back, but then with that progression, it went to the elementary levels, middle school levels, and then up to the high school level. Prior coming to North Idaho College, I was at Gonzaga Prep in Spokane, Washington, coaching in the boys program with head coach Maddie McIntyre. From there, I joined on North Idaho College on the men's side with Corey Simmons. So latter part of 2019, joined his staff there through the COVID years, if you want to call it. So was with him for several years there. And then when Nate came in 2 years ago, gave me the opportunity to switch sides of the program and join the women's program. So been here for 2 years now, ever since then. So kind of a sweet nutshell. So,
Nice.
Yeah. You didn't give yourself enough credit. You started the basketball as you played. You were a player.
Yes, I did play. I played at Whitworth. Back then it was Whitworth College. Right now it's Whitworth University.
Okay.
So, yes.
My coaching career started while I was playing at the University of Montana. I just started coaching basketball camps in the summers when I stayed there. When I went home back to California where I grew up, I would work at the Parks and Recreation doing sports camps with little kids and just enjoyed doing that. And then so once I finished playing collegiately, I jumped right into coaching at high school in Montana. I was fortunate enough to have, at the time, women's high school girls basketball in Montana was played in the fall, and boys was in the wintertime, traditional. And so I was able to coach girls basketball lower levels at a private school in town in Missoula, and then I was helping out at a public school on the boys' side. So I did that for 2 years. My wife graduated, and then we moved to Southern California, and I started coaching at a brand new high school in Riverside, California. And that's where I really fell in love with the development piece and working with kids in the gym and working on the craft. This high school was amazing, the talent that came through and the amount of kids who had passion to be in the gym to get better. I mean, finding ways to prop doors open, to be able to sneak back in the gym. Mm-hmm. It was awesome for those 9 years. I was at King High School in Riverside. And then I moved to Central Oregon and coached girls basketball at Redmond High School in Redmond, Oregon. And I did that for 3 years, and then I helped open a brand new school in Redmond on the boys' side. Did that for 4 years, and at that time I wanted to. At that time I was running a feeder program for my high school, grades 5 through 8. I was a special education teacher, so I had a caseload of 50. I was working primarily with behavior kids, and then I was also the varsity football assistant coach, and I was as well as the varsity basketball coach. So I needed something different, and my wife allowed me. I say allowed because not many people are fortunate enough to have a spouse like I that says take a pay cut to live your dream. So she allowed me to live my dream and supported that, and so I got a coaching job at Willamette University in Salem, Oregon, on the Division III side, on men's, and blessed to work with Kip Ione and be able to learn from him at a small college how that works. And then in my time doing that, I started coaching AAU again, and I was coaching a group of girls from Montana that I was asked to coach. So I was kind of a free agent coach. I was flying all over the West Coast coaching a group of kids from Montana, and super talented group of girls, which led to me getting a job offer at the University of Montana where I played on the women's side. So went to the University of Montana in 2019 and coached during the COVID years. There was a coaching change. I was out of work, looking to get back into coaching, and then NIC opened up, and blessed enough to be here for the last 2 years. Really blessed to have Louis on my staff. He is the exact opposite, the yin to my yang. That's what we needed as our program. Is for the girls, he needs to be that guy that's opposite of me. So I'm super blessed with having him here.
Very good. Well, it has been an awesome 2 years having you guys with me doing the photography and just the way you guys interact with the team. And it was really cool from my perspective to see the entire team, everybody on the team, improve from the very first game. That was, wasn't the greatest, skill-wise, but, towards the last month, everybody was really clicking. The passes were sharper. It just looked really good.
Appreciate that.
So, also on the topic of you coaching and your wife allowing it, you weren't just doing one sport. That was a lot. So that's a lot more time away, too, which, you went straight from football straight to basketball.
Yep, it was busy time.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what you got to do in the smaller towns.
Yep.
I mean, Redmond's not a super small town, but it's for a long time as a one high school town. Now it's a 2 high school town. And if you're a coach, you're probably coaching multiple things because those communities need it.
So was it 8-man football or 11-man football?
No, it was 11-man.
11-man?
It was a cool experience. The best part about it was the football staff, the coaching staff we were great. We loved hanging out with each other. But there was a former NFL coach who was there kind of as a mentor to all of the coaches.
Oh, nice.
And he's passed away, God rest. John Marshall, R.I.P. John Marshall. He was awesome. And he coached. He was the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks and the Raiders and the Falcons and the stories he had about Deion Sanders.
Oh, man.
But he would always come and ask me questions about, like, what are the similarities that we could see between sports. And I honestly, there was a few things I could pick up on, but I would pick his brain because I didn't want to sound stupid with the kids I was coaching. So the one thing I've always stole from him and I can still use in basketball is he was always saying 4 things are important. Eyes, hands, feet, and leverage. If you can talk about those 4 things and be able to recognize where those things are, and you can solve a lot of problems in the football field. For basketball, I kind of equate that to posting up.
Yep.
And so I've kind of kept that now with my teaching of post players and whatnot. So, yeah, small towns, you end up doing a lot.
Yep. All right. So we'll move on to the next question. So you just finished up the 2023-2024 season. Now we're heading into the off season. What are the goals for recruiting for the next season?
I'm going to say bigger, stronger, faster. And I don't say that in any ill will to anybody. We have to get bigger, stronger, and faster. We have to get a team that's deeper, a team that can compete at the national JUCO level and have 9 to 10 kids who are competing hard against each other to playing time and battling each other in practice so that you have opportunities to give to those kids in game times. And also scheduling. We're working big on scheduling. But the recruiting piece is big. Louie and I are talking every day about who we got on the campus. I was just talking when we came out. I was just talking to somebody about some portal kids. So this is a crazy time of year. Like the month of April is going to be super chaotic.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the fun part, right? The hunt, I guess, trying to find kids you can put together. Louie, what are your thoughts?
Well, besides just the physical aspect of it, I think it's the mindset. That's one of the goals that we talked about this year was having athletes come in, not just to come here for 2 years and say, hey, thank you, but to move on to that next level. And so with that brings along the basketball IQ and just that mentality to compete and want to compete at that higher level.
Nice. So, what advice would you give any recruits that are having a hard time getting noticed?
Oh, I'll jump all over that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first advice that's on the top of my list is be persistent. There is a spot for everybody, but you just got to look for it. You'll get numerous no's, you get numerous turn downs, let downs, but be persistent. If you want something, go after it. It might not be the level that you want, but keep on being persistent if it's that important to you.
And I would say, to add to what Louis is saying, the persistence part is like, have a plan. Be on social media. You know, basketball coaches aren't on Instagram, they're on Twitter. You know, so if you want to put yourself out there, I think Twitter's probably a great social media platform to use. And we can go on and on about, you know, being professional and doing the right things. But if you want to get noticed, put yourself out there, create a brand, put your information out on social media, using social media. And there's hundreds of people who are, hey, 24 class of unsigned kids, here's a thread, put this out here. But being persistent with film, emails, phone calls, using your network of coaches that you possibly know. And then, you know, this depending on the level, I think kids have to be open to opportunities. So, you know, some kid says, you know, like that kid says, I'm always slept on. I just want one opportunity, whether that opportunity is a Division II that's offering a partial ride, but you have nothing else. You got to weigh your options, right? So don't be afraid to talk to the small school, even though that may not be your goal. Talk to everybody, because you never know where that coach may end up in a few years, or who that coach knows. I'm talking to Division I coaches about kids I'm trying to get, because we're networking, so that happens. And I would say, you know, grades, have your transcript ready and available, because a lot of schools are going to ask about your grades and where you're at, so they can find ways of stacking scholarships, whether it's academic plus athletic plus something else plus this. So be creative, be persistent, brand yourself, market yourself, but it takes time. And those kids who really want to do that, and the ones who are persistent, like Louis says, they're going to find an opportunity at some level. Now you just have to take that opportunity, that fit, and go with it.
Okay. So if anyone was interested in trying to play for NIC, where would they start, and who would they get in contact with?
Well, first of all, you can call me at 909-645-1162 or email me at Covill, C-O-V as in Victor, I-L-L, at nic.edu. Louis can brand himself. Well, I'm on Twitter. You can reach out to me that way. Our school's on Twitter and Instagram. You can reach us through that. You can hit our website up and find more about us. Louis?
Yeah, just like they said, contact information. My phone number, 509-868-7384. And email address, lkvargas, V-A-R-G-A-S, at nic.edu. We're always willing, able, ready to look through film, answer questions, give callbacks. We're not that type of school that, hey, we look at your request and just put it in the trash. We reach out to every avenue, every request. We look through it, and then we make decisions from there. So
Very good.
And I would say this, this is for any kid, is to get started. You know, choosing the right AAU team and program to go to, depending on the kind of commitment your kid has, or that person wants to put in, you know, that's just added to it. To get noticed, if you want to get noticed, you have to be in the right spots. So kids playing with one group over another group, but then it all comes down to the right place will find you at the right time. What's meant to be will happen, but you have to be persistent. I think Louis made the biggest impact with that word is you gotta go out and work.
It's not going to be handed to you.
No.
You have to really put effort into it.
Yep.
So what are a couple of benefits to coming to a 2-year school like NIC?
yeah, I think the biggest benefit is availability. Availability first with academics, that it's smaller class sizes, and that you'll be able to bang through your just general requirements in a smaller class setting, and I would say more of an intimate class setting. And then athletically, it might be opportunities for more immediate playing time, more opportunities playing against girls or, women or men at your same grade age level, basically, or grade level, freshmen and sophomores, being that we're a 2-year school.
Instead of going against juniors and seniors, where
Correct, yeah.
you might not get any playing time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, with the 4-year schools, of course, you know, you got that graduate student coming back for a 5th year, maybe 6th year with how the world has been going nowadays. But yeah, just opportunities.
And you talked about academics. I also, JUCOs are a great avenue for kids who struggle academically but have gifts athletically. So you have a kid who's a high-level basketball player but needs some work in the classroom. JUCO is a great opportunity for that.
Yes.
But I think Louis hit the nail on the head. You got smaller class sizes. You get a chance to be successful, know your professors, and then you're not competing against older kids. You're getting a chance to showcase and get immediate game reps, live game reps that you can put on film that are allow you to be seen to schools. And then, obviously, if you do well at the program you go to, and your coaches do a good job of developing, you're going to get opportunities that might be more than what you had or different than what you had coming out of high school, which may be what you wanted. You wanted a different opportunity at a different place, whether it's location, whether it's major, whether it's level.
Okay. So how can sorry about that. How can NIC help student athletes reach their goals?
Well, if they want to play, if they want to go on after NIC and play at a 4-year university, we can help you with that. Where Louis and I are adamant about being in the gym, working with kids, and providing opportunities for them to get better. So I know that with that piece, if they want to make sure they reach their goals, we're gonna do everything we can to put them in the gym, get work in, put them in a schedule that's going to be allowed to be seen by 4-year schools, and then we're going to hold them accountable in the academic piece. That's going to get them to be able to transfer to those schools and do so with either an associate's in general studies or something further on than that.
Well, to add on to that piece about helping the student athletes, we're coming out with a unique model now that will accommodate our travel time away from campus, where they can have some in-person classes Monday and Tuesdays, since our schedule predominantly looks Wednesday through Sunday on the road if we're traveling that week. So that's a unique way where we can help that student athlete. Hybrid classes, they're calling it.
Okay.
They offer here online classes, and of course your traditional in-person class. So I think that's one thing that stands out from other schools, that we can help you with that. And of course, getting us involved, proctoring things, whether we're on the road or if they're missing a certain piece during that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday scheduling, that we can help out being on the same boat as the advisors, teachers, and such forth. So
very good. So what would be the hardest hurdle to overcome with only having players for such a short amount of time between 2 and 3 years?
Well, I want to say the hardest hurdle to overcome right now in that short amount of time is getting our players to immediately buy into the culture that we have. That's the biggest thing that I've seen personally as Nate's assistant coach, as Corey's assistant coach on the men's side there, is that buy-in. Finding that athlete where, of course, we want that high caliber athletic player, high basketball IQ, but buying into each other, because we're picking athletes from all different parts of the world. And I say world, I mean the world, with overseas, in-state, domestic, everything. And so just having them buy into that culture. And I think that's something that we're progressively moving forward with. That Nate is establishing, and I call it, I got to say this over the podcast, this is the Covill era. I always say that. Nate knows that. I know he might disagree with me, but during the Covill era, building that concrete culture that we have. I know Nate goes on the 3 C's that he likes to bang on with all our athletes on the court, in the classroom, and in the community. And I believe that's the start, or that's the head of our culture that we have here. Because Nate, he's like a big teddy bear. You look at him, you might be intimidated. Some people call him the bodyguard. Coaches and recruits walk into gyms, but he has the biggest heart. He cares about every aspect of this game, of the recruit, of the player. I mean, it goes on to our administration, to our fellow coaches in the other programs that we have here. And it's just something that not a lot of people possess that. And so for me to be a part of that with Nate, and having him buy into, hey, not just caring about your athletic ability or, hey, how you're doing in the classroom, but he goes far over and beyond to see, hey, how you're doing emotionally. Caring about each individual as an individual rather than just as a group. Oh, we have a group of young women, so hey, okay, we got to treat them this way. No, he compartmentalizes every aspect of player that we have, and some he might joke with, some he might be more stern with, but we try to get to that common goal where everybody buys into it, and that's unique that we have here.
Thank you, Coach. For me, this is only just completed my second year at the JUCO level. I'm learning and still trying to figure out how you do what he said. And it's been hard because after the first year, we didn't have very many returners. So there's you're always looking at those culture builders, those keepers who keep the culture going. Hey, this is what Coach Covill is trying to get you to understand. This is what Coach Louis is trying to get you to understand. Now, as we start to build a program, we start to have some retention and some kids staying. And then we start to have some success, then the culture is going to be more out in the forefront. But it's building a culture is tough. It's not everybody wants to talk about culture. Everybody wants to say you got to have great culture. But if you want to be someone who has a great culture, you have to be willing to be adaptable, and you have to be flexible, and you have to be able to grow yourself in terms of what people need, what a group needs. But as a 2-year coach, those things are tough. Building a group of kids, putting them out there, and then being able to have them buy into the fact that if they play together and they play right and they win, everybody is going to win. Everybody's going to get those opportunities, because a lot of times kids say, "Well, I got to go to this JUCO, I got to go put these numbers up." Well, we're competing against really good players. You go out and average, a respectable number. You don't have to average, but if you're playing together and you have 9 or 10 kids that are getting quality minutes and you're winning games, and they are unselfish on the court and they're playing the right way, 4-year schools will start to come, because they say, "Oh, these kids know how to play." It doesn't matter if they average 25 or they average 10. They know how to play, and that's the point we're trying to get. And it's a process, and I haven't been perfect by any stretch of the means, but that's why I have, like I said, the yin to my yang, and he helps me out with that.
There you go. So how important is community engagement to the program, and how do you involve your team in community service? Can you share some community service you've done in the past?
Louis, you want to start with the SAC committee and how our athletes are involved with that?
So we have a student advisory committee with all programs here at North Idaho College. I'm one of the advisors of that committee. And so what we do is we meet monthly and we talk about different needs that we have as student athletes or as a department, an athletic department, of what we would like to see done. As far as the community service piece of it, we've got involved with numerous things. Clothes drives that we did this past fall, going into winter, Toys for Tots. We got involved in that during the Christmas months or December. Beach cleanup was huge. Just the presence of our 9 programs, athletes out there, combing the beach, literally combing the beach, picking up trash and just making it a beautiful environment which complements the lake and the scenery we have here anyway. Other ones is autism walks, polar plunge here in Coeur d'Alene, that our athletes or volunteers would go and just participate, helping pass out T-shirts, registration, just being there physically with our North Idaho gear, showing that, hey, we are a part of the community, not just within our little realm here on campus. Also partaking in parades and different high school, I'm not sure what you call it, those high school seminars that they have where students and their parents come at night, and that you get to promote the school.
Okay. Yeah.
And we were just one of the departments from NIC that went and promoted what we have to offer here, just in case anybody was interested but was afraid to come to the big campus to figure that out. So.
And then we've done, as you know, the last 2 years we've partnered with Bryan Elementary School, and we go do clinics after school. Haven't been able to do as much of that school stuff as we want to do. I would like to become more active in the elementary schools, the middle schools, as far as getting out there. But we did have some clinics. And then I would say, as far as community involvement, what I want, my vision is, I want NIC to be a place where young ladies in Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, the surrounding small communities, that they know they can come. if we're opening our gym to the community, they can come and get workouts with us. So we've had girls from Lake City team, Coeur d'Alene team. We've had girls from Post Falls. We've had girls. I've even had girls from as far away as Lewiston reach out and ask to come to open gyms. And then we have, our current kids who play with these local kids. So there's not very many places in this country where a girl can go walk into a gym and get an open gym run with other girls, other young ladies, other women. Most of the time, kids will walk into a gym, if it's a 24-hour fitness or something like that, they got a bunch of guys on the floor. So I want this community to know that we're available to your daughters. We will do that. Now, we haven't been as active as we want in camps, but I feel like with the people who know us in this community, the high school kids and the other families, the word's getting out that this place is a place where kids come. In fact, our first open gym is tonight, and we have I know a number of the Lake City girls will be here, a number of our players who are in town, and then I imagine a couple of Coeur d'Alene kids will come as well.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
speaking of, just to add on to that, the whole month of April, we are running Monday and Wednesday nights, 5 to 6, 6:30, depending how many girls show up, and then optional Fridays.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very good to get that information out
Yes.
and available to everybody who just make them feel comfortable.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, as we look ahead to the next season, could you share a couple key goals that you have set for the team and how you plan to achieve them?
I would say for me, one of the things we have to get better myself, and in the program, we got to become more consistent in certain things we do. I think so. Consistency is going to be a word that we harp on, myself particularly, making sure that we use that going into every day in practice. But like I said, recruiting the type of athlete that we want in this program that's going to build upon those 3 C's, classroom, court, and community, who's going to embrace those, who's going to come every day and understands that when you come to the gym, you're going to work, and we're going to push you, and we're going to coach you. And we got to make sure we recruit the right type of kid that understands when you come here, we're going to provide you opportunities, but we're going to coach you hard, and we're going to love you, and we're going to let you know we care about you. And there's going to be hard work involved with that. There's going to be sacrifice. But the goals right now, I think, would be, one, consistently achieving things daily, and then recruiting the type of kids that we want, tough-minded kids who want to get better, who want to move on, and want basketball to help them further their education and get a degree and get it paid for as much as possible.
Yeah, and I would like to add on with the key goal for next season is trying to get each athlete's greatest ability from them, which I believe is their availability, being where your feet are, everything that coach just said, but having them buy into it immediately, not focus about the surroundings, but be where your feet are, because that's going to be huge for us.
Very good. All right, guys, was there anything that you'd like to add or anything?
I would say if you need anybody to get photographs or you need somebody else to do some work, you need to call this guy Kyle, because he does a great job. Our athletes are absolutely some of the luckiest kids around to have you and your wife come and do the things you do for athletes. So I want to say thank you for putting this together. This is awesome. It's great that we're the first people to be a part of that.
Right.
Hopefully you don't have to do too many touch-ups on the video with me. But,
And this wasn't a paid sponsor. I did not pay him to say this.
No, but seriously, parents of athletes or anybody else, photography stuff, Kyle's your man. Him and his wife, they do great work. And so if you want people to, if you want some people to let you know how good a job he is, you can take a look at our web pages and my Instagram, because those are all his photos. He does a great job.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, guys. Well, thank you. Good luck in the off season, and can't wait for basketball season to start back up. It feels like it'll be right around the corner before we know it.
Oh, it will. It will.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks
a lot.
very much.
Awesome,
Right,
Kyle.
Kyle.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.